to this. Two players, SHOCK and SINZEDKO, going to play the long flank. Forzy is watching for the underpass play, but he dinks him through the top of it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That will mean the bomb can go down uncontested as well, and they've got to worry about their backs. The two-man flank is still a thing. It's still coming through. SHOCK will find one, and very nearly, in fact, does double up before the trades come through, and that makes this viable now. Flanking towards the palace for SINZEDKO. He wants to play the trigger discipline. He wants the knife, and he'll get it. P250 recovered. 2 on 3. They've got to smoke for this bomb as well, and Ships is a long way from home. He's still got to make that flank happen, so they're going to charge on him. Bubble goes down, and it's on to Ships. 1v3. He finds the first, but no more. B-Stick will land the defuse, and Sin as well. It's a bit chaotic, but the pistol is theirs.
We even managed to get a knife rather out in that pistol. He didn't even bother with the USP. With the P250 rather, wanted the USP at range. I think he swapped back over, actually, because you see him trading out there before we get the change over. And it was clearly the correct choice. Lands that nice final one tap. His teammate was on the bomb if needed. And that's going to be Sinners picking up the pistol round here to kick things off on Mirage. A reminder that didn't happen back on Overpass. SKADE were able to get off to a pretty solid start. The comeback was needed to make it a close game in the end. Yeah, I was wondering what was going on here with Ships. Taking his time before grabbing the gun and heading out of spawn. I guess they were trying to decide who exactly was going to rock it. Did he buy it up himself and then drop it, or did someone else buy it? Oh, I'm confused as to how he got that exactly.
Well, he's got it.
Yeah, must have just had 3,700. Did he get... Yeah, well, he got 3 kills, I suppose.
He got 3 kills.
Yeah.
And that'll give him enough, just about. Hero AK to try and have some impact. Currently holding on to top mid. But Sinner's not giving him anything. Knowing they've got the firepower advantage, they're happy just to play it relatively chill. Trusting B-Stick solo over towards that B site with a little extra utility. 4 rifles up, including Forzy on an AWP, which is not standard, to say the very least, as now the flashes start to come in. SINNEOFRAG capitalizing well for a double that leaves the bomb isolated in towards mid. Rainmaker off the back of it, charging into this B site, but with bomb only just being recovered, the rotation should be well placed to deal with this. Nice shot from B-Stick, deals with one. You can see SHOCK aware of the possibility, deals with the next. And Denny, well, he's recovered the AK, but he's 1v5. He's deep into T-spawn, and there's 35 seconds left on the clock. So it's not a great look, no matter what he chooses to do. And, well, with 30 seconds, maybe save. But, again, does he want to get his economy disjointed from the rest of the team this early on?
I mean, it's a tough position, honestly, because obviously Ships had invested into that anyway, so he's not going to have enough to buy in this next round. Everyone else, though, probably wants to go for it, so I think you probably just save the AK. Get yourself your armor and such around this. Ships has died, so at least he'll get some money to work with, and they can pull something together. I think that's probably how it's going to go down right now. No hunt coming in either, so he is going to be fine. But yeah, as you mentioned, a clean round from Sinners. They didn't really need to take any risks. They knew they weren't up against really anything. Once they did spot the AK, they made sure that they weren't going to give it any opportunities at all. Good round from SINNEOFRAG.
Clean. Simple stuff, executed well, and off the back of it, of course, Ships went for the hero rifle. He didn't get anything done, so he's on the D as everyone else gets their AK-47s.
That's a nade trading and spawn that's taken them quite a while to get out of, doesn't it?
Looks like they want to fake an A hit, almost. At least initially. But now they're going back, doubling back and looking to support. So here comes the early utility. Pot flash and a smoke to get a little bit of mid control. 3 players still queued up over towards A. It is going to be what looks like an A site split. A minute and 15 left on the clock. They'll just start to wander their way down mid, almost lackadaisically, as they send the Degon up first. Baiting in nicely for the AK, who spotted a foot and has dealt with SINNEOFRAG. That's a big opener to find. The Deagle doing its job perfectly. Forzy, meanwhile, will be able to find at least one. And as they charge on out, there's players here to read it. Forzy with a second before he's taken away, but it's the man advantage. Make it 2 as Ships from Underpass finds more connections. And that MP9 at range was never going to win the fight. As soon as the rifles come out in force, SKADE are able to get on the board.
Yeah, I mean, expecting their T side to be pretty strong, in fairness. That seems to be where they've been excelling over these past couple, but in general, their CT here on Mirage is usually where they do tend to do a little bit better, but they've, at least on both Inferno and Overpass, looked very, very disjointed, I suppose, on their CT sides. So I'll have to see if that's something that carries on. But for now, in Eco, there's not going to be any sort of a fight put up. SKADE are going to have their second round. Buy will be available here in the next one, at least for Sinners. Their economy isn't too terrible, as we can see, even getting a few pistols to work with. But really, that's the most they can hope for right now, rather, is to get 2 or 3 kills out of this. And, well, there was a bit of a chance there. Actually, they might even have an opportunity as they start coming forward on Connector. SINNEOFRAG, he's not going to be cleared. 2 free kills immediately being found, and AK recovered. And I was going to say, I hope there is he wanted to try and take the fight in against Palace. Unfortunately, it backfires, and Dreamer, with a second kill with the help of Rainwaker as well, has allowed for them to go ahead and claim this A bomb site. But that flank of Forsey, if he had anything but a USP right now, he could be causing some serious trouble.
There's a double dink here for him. If he wants it, he will get it. Bomb goes down regardless, though. And now with his position known, he's in real trouble. Dreamer hunts him down with the AK. B-Stick with the USP and 60 HP. There is rifles recoverable, so he's going to grab one of those, but without a kit, a full 10 second on the clock. Denny playing around the bodies towards bottom of Connector as well. Just making this one all but impossible for B-Stick to really dream about getting. He'll tap the bomb again, bait them back in, but Denny should be able to deal with him without too many issues indeed. Lined up and executed. It's good damage, you have to say. 3 kills, considering how little they brought into the round, but not quite able to cheese it over the line.
Yeah, I think they can be fairly happy, though, as you said. They'll get the round win, but although they might be kicking themselves slightly, they weren't able to convert on the 5-on-3. You've still got to be pretty happy with how much you were able to take out of the hands of SKADE, especially now if they're able to actually convert off the back of it and manage to win out this this initial gun round for themselves. Good nade on Bubble. There was a player looking to aggress up mid. The side's against it, and well, that's probably the right idea. Rather, Ships actually just charges through the connector smoke. Flash in, gives him the opening kill onto SINNEOFRAG. He just about survives the counter spam as well, but unfortunately his teammate not going to be as lucky. That repeek in from window will bring us back to the 4-on-4. The problem is, it's only that one player selling out the A commitment right now up connector. Everyone else is grouped in apps, and they've done enough to pull B-Stick over towards short.
They've kept him completely off the site, and they're going to drop silently as well. He's only just started to realise what's happened, and that will be his undoing. Rainwaker behind bench before he even knew what was going on. And that's the call to save. It's not going to be an easy save either, as Ships is looking to compound the pain. Will go down. Ought to be saved, and at this point, an even 3-on-3, I think we will see SKADE just start to respect it a little bit more. Hold on to the rifles they've got as well. A little bit of a handshake. A nod towards both sides, and that's a little unfortunate there, you have to say. B-Stick's been doing a solid job of anchoring down that B site, but this time he just gets pulled out of position by the fact that Ships has gone through that connector smoke, right? It's the fact he's got 1 kill there, and they know he's somewhere in that area. So B-Stick has to start considering mid, has to start considering supporting the AWPer. From there, well, it all falls apart. Give SKADE the lead as well, 3-2, a nice economy building up for that T side.
They'll put a bit of a dent in it just to get the drops back over, but overall they're going to have enough for at least a couple of buys in the reserve, and this round isn't really one where you can see the buy coming in. Well, with the save, of course, rather being pulled through, they should be able to just about scrape it together, but even then, I don't know if it's going to be perfect. You see the MP9, I was expecting 2 SMGs, but they do make it a decent investment anyway. But are we going to be seeing any sort of play off the back of it, or are they just keeping things fairly standard? Because that looks to be the case for now. 2 players around A, a couple of them peeking mid initially, 1 over towards B, left alone, and then they'll just revert back to a fairly standard hold. No sort of counter aggression to get info or anything. And unfortunately with that, they've made the mistake of keeping 3 towards A. It looks like this is going to be a relatively quick B here. Okay, Ships manages to find the spam on SINNEOFRAG. I'm wondering now whether that keeps those B players preoccupied or not. It doesn't seem like they've budged, but it doesn't matter. The flashes are perfect. The MAC-10 leads the charge forward and manages to just cover so much ground that not only did he get the 1 kill, but he managed to push Forsey back towards the pillar. The molly and a smoke now put down to make sure he's not going to be any more trouble to these rifle players. We'll have to see, because there is still time.
Oh, starting to peek out as well. Will be traded nicely, 1 for 1. They'll take that, but it's given the CTs a little bit of breathing room. There's a long flank coming in here from Ships, and they're sort of holding off, waiting for that to come through. There it is. Catches the timing right as SINZEDKO looks to reset, and that leaves Shock. He was meant to be the cheeky play up on the bins. Besides his own teammate Smoke, Ships has no idea where to look at the moment, but he will turn in time, and SKADE will continue with Ships just causing absolute havoc, you have to say, in towards mid, right? He's consistently punishing them. He's using his util to sell a fake to keep them honest on the A-site rotations. And then he's coming in for the backstab as well. He really is doing it all, and that is just a nasty way to start a round.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the spray as well, as he just kind of shifted it over to the side. I think whoever it was in towards connector, I'm forgetting now, wanted to creep past just as the spam was stopping, but a little bit longer than normal. It cost him his life. 4-2. SKADE, as we said, their T side is where they have been flourishing. They looked good on the T side of overpass as well. It's the CT where they've really struggled, so I want to see them keep this going, ideally, if they want to put themselves in a really strong position. Well, back to just the pistols for Sinners means that SKADE really aren't in much of a rush about making a commitment towards any of these bomb sites. They're aware the buy is going to be relatively weak for Sinners, even leaving player back all the way in spawn just to make sure no A aggression comes in. Not wanting any of these rifles, rather, really to be isolated.
Yeah, just chilling. And it's caused aggression as well. B-Stick's charging through the apartment, so he'll get taken down for free. And they know that's the B anchor as well.
Awkward timing. Just as the bomb gets in position as well and can potentially move in and plant for free.
Nice off angle for SINNEOFRAG. We'll gift him at least one. Bomb should start to realise now that it wants to be heading over towards that B site. And Denny will hear the burning feet of SINNEOFRAG to find a second. So, time to stabilise. Bomb will go down. And to be honest, there's not too much point in hunting this because you're just feeding the Deagle. Shock illustrating that point beautifully on the timing. Deals with ships. And at this point, he's going to flash himself in, grab a rifle, see what more damage he can get. Maybe even look to save that AK, which is exactly what the call will be. So, SKADE, I think, again, we saw it a little bit on Overpass, just getting a tad complacent at times. When it really feels like it's all going their way, and it almost feels like that's the case again. Denny's now stuck in ladder as well, with players just in all corners looking for him. Missed shot from Shock, but on the second time of asking, he'll double his kill count in the round, and this has got very expensive, you have to say. Forzy's going to save an AK-47, 3 frags found. It's not a bad round for Sinners, and it feels like SKADE, if they'd slowed it down a bit, if they'd not gone so keen, if Ships hadn't headed his way up connector, it might be a different picture.
Yeah, this isn't good. They are able to at least manage to pull off the buy again, but SKADE are just starting to run away with things a little bit now. Wondering what the change-up is for Sinners, because again, they're just keeping things fairly standard. I think they tried mid-aggression once, but it was cancelled basically straight away, back in towards connector. Looks like instead Forzy wants this Palace peek. We hadn't seen it as of yet, but it's something that's always going to be expected. And, well, Dreamer, he's a little bit too quick. Dennyslaw might even have a chance in connector as well. Unfortunately for SINNEOFRAG, indeed, he takes that peek just a small bit too wide, gives away a pixel. And with that, it's just set up perfectly for the A-split. B-Stick's doing what he can, and actually he manages to come away with 2. Shock up on top of Palace, manages to take out 1 on ramp as well. And with the help of SINZEDKO, they stopped any lurkers from being an issue over towards short, so it's all onto Dreamer. He kicked things off with an opening kill, and now he needs to be the one to end it as well if he doesn't want Sinners to take their 3rd round.
That collapsed out of absolutely nowhere. 2 players line up for the M4A1S spray down, and, well, quick as you like. The A-site hit is completely disarmed. Bomb down in the jungle as well. I'm not sure how much more you can really ask of Dreamer in this one. He shuffled that AWP backwards to at least make sure that double up setup isn't going to be maintained. Going to try and get that out the map. Or is he? He's thinking about it. Maybe the save is the smarter call, and that's what he's going to go for. Posts himself in the Palace. Trying to hold on to that AWP. Shock has heard it, and he's wandering around with a flashbang, just asking if anyone fancies a go. Anyone wants to try their luck, but with the amount of economy that the CT side have got, I don't think anyone's going to be biting. Trying to get into that Palace angle and trying to deal with an AWP, so a relatively tame finish to things, but Sinners will be happy. 3rd round on the board, 3 players kept up, including one of those AWPs, and a nice little set on the A-site defense.
Yeah, Dreamer was at least able to salvage the op, so I don't think SKADE will be too worried, but yeah, allowing for Sinners to at least keep 3 standing, that's how they wanted things to kick back off for them, to get themselves back onto the board now. Allows for a couple of rifles to easily be dropped. They've got this double up setup as well. Smoke out towards window. Is that going to mean we will see an uptick in the pace right now? Perhaps quicker on the mid control. Yeah, it looks to be the goal. Maybe the A split, I think, is actually where they're going to take this now. Maybe faking that they were going to push up short a bit as they had gone for that B split before. Or at least it had presence around there. Instead, SINNEOFRAG and Connector is likely to be the one that gets challenged alongside Dennyslaw now, who's got himself the op. And well, he lands it, but it was on the legs of Forsey, who just about hangs on. And Ships doesn't do any damage really with that spam, I don't believe. Just about missing the wall, covering him off.
Somehow misses every bullet. SINNEOFRAG's well placed to deal with this though, and he will catch Denny. Orpa tries to get a little too keen on the re-peek into top con, so is felled. Again, they battle this initial mid control, come off down on it, and SKADE defaulting back into the A site. All 4 players to try and pop out. With 3 here ready and waiting, including the AWP of Forsey, it feels like a resolute defense. Shock is tucked behind default. Molly into com from SINNEOFRAG buys them more time. Forsey, yes, he's low HP, but with the AWP deep CT, it's going to be rough for this T side, and Shock's looking to aggress on it as well. Close on the ramp, pop flash in, so many blind faces, he can't quite connect, but he knows what's coming. Calling for the rotations, tucks himself back deep in towards Firebox, lines them up, can only find the one. But Forsey is there to trade things down and keep it advantageous for the CT side, as again, they're struggling to get into this site. Bubbles, head spotted, removed by SINNEOFRAG, and it leaves Ships. He's done so much good work, but this time SINNEOFRAG is having none of it. Sinner's looking to stabilize things. 1 round the difference. That CT side is starting to kick once again.
Yeah, they're waking up. It just seems to be the case with Sinners. It was the same back on Inferno, or rather Overpass, where it took them a little while to find their footing before they got going. SINNEOFRAG has been pretty impressive. We haven't really had a specific standout, though, over really any of these maps for Sinners. It's been a fairly joint team effort, even when they managed to start making that comeback happen there on Overpass as well. Which is obviously a good sign. Bubble struggling a bit right now, which is not ideal when he was the one leading the way on the previous map for the SKADE buys. And they're actually going to put everything into this buy, which is not looking perfect by any means. A Tech 9 and a Galil is going to be part of the limitations, and it looks like they want to go straight into this A execute, actually. Bubble decides he doesn't want to be part of it. Drops his molly in the bomb and just refuses to fight.
Nice counter by the CT side, though. Shock and SINNEOFRAG are both aggressive on this. Timing is going to be an issue, but they've got utility to potentially stall. They've tucked SINNEOFRAG tight on the left-hand side. This could be a perfect bait and switch setup. Shock just has to buy time. Because if SINNEOFRAG is hard cleared, he's going to have a hard time getting anything done. Start to line up this utility. Shock does place himself on this angle. SINNEOFRAG tucked in tight. Shock baits them in. Sprays down 2 before SINNEOFRAG is even activated, and that's going to make his job so much easier. Rainwaker, though, is a little too smart for that, and he will start to clear things down, so it's an even 3-on-3. And with a minute left on the clock, they don't have to commit just yet. They'll pick up some dropped utility, and they'll start to consider alternative options.
Not got a ton of time, though. I mean, sure, they've got the 45 seconds, but if they're committing this to B, then that's where they're going to have to end it. And as we can see, Sinners do have a decent amount of time. The problem being, Sinners seem to be thinking that they might already have crept the player in towards B, so they're being very cautious on their rotation back over. As you can see, SINZEDKO only now getting here. The problem is, yeah, to flank up the stairs. Dreamer doesn't even have his weapon out. He has no idea. That's going to be a free kill. The bomb gets dropped as well, and now it's all on Rainwaker. And while he does a good job getting that trade frag, now he has to deal with the op, and there's already support there from Forsey as well. Both of the ops, actually. That could be a bit of an issue. Maybe not.
Will burn him down, 10 HP. They should know he's low, and they've got full banks of utility, 2 HEs, both of which would finish him quite handily. There goes the first. Where does Forsey look to throw his is the question, not even needed. SINZEDKO quickscope connects, and Sinners again stabilizing this situation well. They're starting to get a solid read on what SKADE are trying to do, and as much as they thought they'd snuck a player out early on B, they were aware that SKADE were going to go B, so the overall thought was solid, even if the nuances of it were a little more sketchy. And that's what gets them over the line at the end of the day. 5 apiece, leveling things out, managing to slow down SKADE's T side as well, which could be critical.
Oh, we're actually seeing a force spike coming in here from Ships. Oh, well, that's not an ideal molly, but yeah, going for the hero rifle here on Ships. It's a bit risky, but in fairness, what they get, they already have themselves the 2900 loss bonus coming in this next one, so should be fine to get the buy, especially if they can get a couple of kills and maybe even get that bomb down. That would be the biggest of helps. But Sinners, I mean, after being down initially 5-2, they've pulled it back up to 5-5. Now they're in a position where this round, as long as they can take it cleanly, it should be theirs. It should be an opportunity to build up some economy as well. They have started to wake up, as we said here.
Certainly feels like it. That's a nice smoke as well. Deployed deep into the ramp right as the execute comes out. They're going to have to charge through it, have to be loud about it. Shock flashed in beautifully, gets the opener. Able to retreat relatively freely as well. Beastic is a little isolated in the window. Dreamer will be able to post on it, potentially boost an AK up as well. Problem is, again, the bomb not here with it. So as much as Dreamer finds that kill, and yes, that's a rifle down, it's not recoverable. The bomb is on the ramp and has been traded evenly, so not a lot for the T side to work with, although that dink very nearly gives them a little more. SINNEOFRAG down on 9 HP, gonna have to play passively from here on out. Pawsey takes full advantage for another deep swing and frag. And again, at this point, it's just about damage. Like you said, maybe get another kill, maybe get that bomb down. That's all SKADE can really be hoping for. And Dreamer, well, he's going to be taken out before he can land it.
Rainwaker is, I believe, actually creeping his way forward now. Yeah, is he working up short, or am I seeing this wrong on the radar? He actually might have a chance to catch SINZEDKO off guard and potentially get the bomb down, which would be a massive help to the entire team's economy, but no, he's not able to get it done. They kind of needed that bomb plant to make up for the fact that ships had gone in on their hero rifle. It would have allowed him to at least pull out something here, whether it was the AK in his armor or maybe even a little with a few nades behind it. Bit unfortunate they're not able to get that done, but as I said, it was a chance for a clean round for Sinners. They managed to keep 4 players standing. Now they're really starting to build their economy, especially onto the likes of Forsey and also SINZEDKO, who you really wanted on, considering they're rocking the double op right now.
It's a solid situation for the CT side to find themselves in, and you can see it's starting to sow the seeds of panic a little bit in towards the T side. The B play has been called. Rainwaker, the only player over towards A to try and call this fake. Beastic is ready and waiting to receive. Utility is decent, and Beastic has actually dropped off the angle initially. He's actually dropped deeper into the B side. He's going to reset on the headshot angle. See if maybe if he can catch something a little cheeky from here. He spots one on the cross, but now he's in trouble. Got to land this first shot cleanly, and does. Spray down very nearly good for the second. Denny on 6 HP will deal with him, and that will open up an avenue to this bomb plant. Makes things potentially awkward for Sinners. They're trying to go up mid, and the flank is beautiful from Rainwaker. He was initially the A-side fake, and now he's fast up mid with 2 players ready and waiting in short. This feels like it should be all that's done, but well read by SINNEOFRAG to respond. Wallbang connects from SINZEDKO, and somehow Sinners are continuing to make this look viable. SINZEDKO frags out for one more, and Dreamer, well, he's 1v4 back of the site. Nice headshot for one. He tries to spray down the second and lands it. Deagle out for SINZEDKO, and he will finally find the connection. It's a valiant effort. Dreamer back of the site doing everything he possibly can, but it's just not quite gonna land.
You start to believe there, though, when it comes down to only the 2 operas remaining. One of them even rocking a deagle in his hands. It looked like there might have been the chance if he was able to get that swing in again and win out the fight versus SINZEDKO, but yeah, unfortunately not in the end. Damage done at least. The bomb plant did go down, so they should be able to keep their buys going now and keep the pressure on, but the problem is Sinners are starting to run away with a little bit of with the scoreline here a little bit. Up on 7. If they can get towards 9, then I think they're going to be feeling really good.
SKADE take the timeout to that effect as well.
Yeah, it's necessary. Bubble's really struggling. I think he's doing the calling, but still, back in the day especially, he was a player you could usually rely on for frags.
It's not great, and it does feel like SKADE is starting to drop off again, right? Bubble is calling according to Liquipedia, so you can give it a little bit of slack in terms of the fragging department, but you'd like a little more from him here. Because it feels like Sinners are just starting to stretch their legs again, just starting to get settled like they did on Inferno. We all saw how that ended up. It's control to be taken here by SKADE. Ship's absolutely charging his way into the connector, and all SINNEOFRAG, he tried to be clever with it. Tried to wait for the timing, and it's Ships who gets it instead, and now the desperation starting to sink in for Sinners. Beastic charging up short is found for free. There's one trade at the very least from Forsey, but that's all they're going to get. Ships He's back to his nonsense in towards connector, and well, legs coming in from the AWPers. 2 players tagged up at this point, but the problem is it's the double AWP setup to try and retake this 2-on-4. Surely a bridge too far, and ships, well, he makes sure it absolutely is. SINZEDKO, at this point, he knows there's damage. He switched to the 4A1S in the hope that maybe there's some exit frags to be had on the board, but not going to be given much of anything. SKADE know how important it is to stabilize their economy for the last few rounds of this first half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they even bothered to send the op forward there. SINZEDKO's only on the M4 now as well. He's actually looking to move in. Is he wanting the ninja? Is this going to work? There's a player there coming out a ramp, so I don't think he's going to have a chance. Unfortunately, there's also one back in the CT spawn, but yeah, for a moment it looked like maybe if that ramp player backed away a little bit further, that perhaps there could have been a shot at the defuse. I don't love it though, I won't lie. Look at their economy, it's really not as good as you'd want it to be. They could still lose this round and then be left with absolutely nothing to fight for that final round, which would give SKADE the chance of coming out with a... Especially if they go back into the double up setup now, then it's going to make no sense. Okay, well, they go for just the 1 at least to save a bit of money, but they could have had the 2 if they wanted to save.
It felt like he almost got baited into it by the fact he saw nobody, right? He saw nobody all the way up there, so he was like, oh, maybe I'll give this a go. Does mean this round's a must-win, and well, must-wins start perfectly. Forzy with 1 shock, a second in quick succession, and already SKADE looking a little bit worse for wear. They've consistently tried for this mid control, and when it's worked, it's looked fantastic. It's looked genius. Ships has found so much damage, rather. When it's gone wrong, it has tended to implode somewhat spectacularly, and at this point, with an early 3v5, swing into mid for SINNEOFRAG. He takes the shot through the wall. Not quite enough to finish him off, though, and that makes it 2-on-5 with the bomb dropped in mid as well. It goes from bad to worse. Dreamer's an easy lineup for Shock, and Ships, well, you've caused havoc in connector. This is a bridge too far. Flawless round. One mistake from Sinners, very quickly corrected.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything too crazy, just that bit of early aggression around the ramp. The response here on mid as well. Wasn't like SKADE were really playing anything off of each other in order to try and get anything done there. A lot of individual peaks rather came in, and Sinners, as we've seen at the moment, do seem to be the stronger of the 2 teams when it comes to that individual skill. At least how it's clicking here on Mirage, it's wildly different from map to map. Let's put it that way. A bit of a wild swing though from Forzy, just right into Dennyslaw, expecting that molly, I guess, to still be covering him a little bit. SINNEOFRAG, how did he get past bubble?
He just flew. Unchecked. Shock now. Under pressure on the A side. Multiple targets to deal with, but Rainwaker looks away at the worst possible moment. Allowing Shocks to step in. Ships has been spotted and dealt with. Dreamer, yes, he finds 1, but he's down to 7 HP in the 2-on-3. Will at least be able to grab himself an AWP. Bogdan's it off the ground. And Bomb out in no man's land is going to cause problems. SINNEOFRAG is flanking. He's tucked himself in for now, but he will be activated at some point. Just a question of when he looks to pounce. Smokes and flashes to make this even more difficult for the CT side, and actually to make enough noise to cover SINNEOFRAG. Dreamer's been spotted. Dealt with. Denny's position known as well. SINNEOFRAG really is the snake in the grass in this one. DENNYSLAW 1v3 with the AWP. 40 seconds and Bomb. But it's going to take something a little bit spectacular here. He's trapped in towards the jungle. Spotted out and dealt with. 9-6 as we head into the halftime break. Sinners looking to make it their 3rd map. A solid first half has given Sinners a platform to build on, but it's not a perfect one. 9-6 at the half. If the pistol goes against them, it could very quickly turn south. And, well, it looks like they're trying to make it happen very quickly as well. Fast play called straight into this B site. One flash, second flash, smoke to give them a little bit of breathing room. Neither of those flashes blinding up the CT side, but it's missed shots, and that opens things up. B-Stick and Shock combine brilliantly for 2, and that's the B site. Utterly overwhelmed, and the CT side have got a choice to make. They've consistently saved in the 3-on-5s, and yep, that's it. They're done.
Yeah, that did not go well at all for SKADE. Understandable, though. Just Glocks piling out onto that B-bomb site, it can be difficult to contain no matter what. You need ideally a bit of nade damage, you need to hit a couple heads, and just hope to set up for a retake, really, which they did not have the utility even for. No kit in play. So with that, looking to try and at least save Kevlar over, give themselves a bit more working forward into whether it's the force buy here in this next round, most likely, or perhaps even an eco. Either way, a bit of extra cash would be helpful, but it's Sinners up to 10. As we mentioned, what we've seen from SKADE so far throughout this series is that they really struggle on the CT sides, especially when they had slow starts, as we seen back on Overpass, where, what was it, 7 or 8 rounds in a row on the T side for Sinners on a map they don't even play before SKADE were even able to get one.
Yeah, they've been struggling immensely. Inferno really was the only one to buck the trend, so
even then, their CT was not great. There was a lot of crazy plays being made and such back on Inferno that were just weird. They weren't really playing well off of each other. I remember the moment Dreamer jumped out of the pit to take the fight when all of them were moving up short, just to get one kill. There was questionable decisions really throughout all the CT sides.
Well, let's see if this decision remains to be questionable. 2 FAMAS, Scout, couple of Deagles, heavy presence in towards mid. It's an awkward fight for them, though, and B-Stick wins it out. The damage is good, but they need kills, and they're not getting them. 2 rifles taken down early. 1 will be recovered, and Forzy, again, just not quite taken away. Chipped away at. Down to half HP, but that's just not quite enough for the CT side at this point, if we're being perfectly honest. They needed those kills, and now they're going to have to make a call. It's going to have to be a gamble. It looks like the right one for now. Moving heavy presence over towards this B site. It's still going to be a straight 3-on-4. The 5th a little way away. B-Stick looking to hold for any rotations. He's not going to be given the opportunity, but they have got all the firepower here. And Bubble charging in, gives it away. SINZEDKO gets the freebie. That turns it into a 4-on-2. And at this point, Denny, there is players tagged up for you. There's potential for that Scout to do a lot of heavy lifting here. And he's going to have to do a hell of a lot. The timing is going to be absolutely everything. Oh, ships. Oh, ships. He wanders out. He gets away with it. B-Stick was slow to react, and now 2-on-4. They'll charge on in. Denny tags up another. Is that enough to give them the breathing room? No. SINZEDKO cuts him down in his prime. And at this point, there's nothing more ships can do. The save will be called again. The bomb will be planted, and the hunt will begin.
That was a little bit awkward and on mid right there. B-Stick's FAMAS had come around the corner, or rather, Ships' FAMAS had come around the corner, and B-Stick just somehow didn't spot it. Ships now is actually given a bit of a fight to try and hang on to it. With Shock and SINNEOFRAG low, I was going to say they probably don't want to invest too much into hunting down a FAMAS, but SINZEDKO is a pretty decent position, so he might have a chance of just taking it straight away. Yeah, it doesn't really look like he's going to be expecting this. He's going to be wrapped on from all sides. No weapon will be saved over. It'll be a full eco just then going forward into this next round. He wants the knife, but he doesn't really have the angle, unfortunately. So yeah, he decides, better just take the shot. Let's play it safe.
That's a big round to lose as well, you have to say. The lead now at 5. That was the force buy. Eco to follow. Sinners will be 4 rounds away from victory before you can get the rifles out again. And it's a full eco to be called as well. They know they need absolutely everything. They need to throw the kitchen sink at Sinners T side, so full USPs into this one. Stack over on the A site. You don't mind it. You got to try something when you're on these default pistols. You got to give yourselves some kind of opportunity to do damage, because otherwise up against the rifles you are just going to get chewed up and spat out. So heavy stack, see if maybe you can get a little bit of something cheeky, but other than that, it's just going to be a fairly regulation round, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary, really. I'd like to see them maybe even get a bit more aggressive, but I don't think that's really the plan right now. They don't want to just funnel themselves into anyone who could be waiting on the other side of ramp. And, well, now that they've already lost mid-control, there's not much about fighting back in that area, although they do try a bit of a mad spam into the smoke, and they've done a ton of damage. Okay, if Ships can land some headshots now as they come up short, maybe something can be done about this. He's gotten himself 1 kill. Further damage onto Forsey. If he can delay even an extra few seconds, he's gonna have teammates here to help. And how are they making this happen? Bubble even has himself an AK. Beestick is gonna do everything he can in from behind the bench, but this is not looking good. The health on both of these players is minuscule, and it's even gonna come down to the one-on-one. Rainwaker versus Shock.
Timing's gonna be everything here.
Oh,
he's tagged him again. One shot from the USP, and that's it. That's a full eco, Dean. They had 5 USPs, and they've spammed, and they've spammed, and they've blown their house down. This is madness. Oh, I'm done with this series. It's too late for this. How are they doing this? It's 5 USPs.
honestly, it makes so little sense. The AK in the hands of Bubble didn't even get a chance to do anything, right? It was literally just the USPs that done it all, if I recall correctly, so yeah, that was crazy. Bubble's still having a horrible game, I won't lie. He's 3-17, but the fact that SKADE are even managing to get anything done, the fact that they're having such a competitive game with a couple players struggling, it is remarkable. And a good shot from Shipser is going to kick things off. He was the man in that previous round that really was able to give them the ability to even start fighting for the round win. Getting that first kill from the back of the bomb site and delaying massively, it was a miraculous play, really. And now a great opening here as well to give them a shot at really starting to pull back things on the CT side.
They're going to have to settle for the A site play, and they've only got 2 smokes to work it as well. There will be angles missing here. Denny should have free reign realistically. First of the smokes come out. Short player will swing on a timing. Plenty of presence there. Pop flash over the top. Molotov to lock them out of the initial play. And with 50 seconds left, this starts to get ugly. Deagle with B-Stick trying to connect, but he can't quite find the shot he's after. 3 on 5. You can see everybody from SKADE knows where this is going. They're all rotating in. And they're not giving anything up. SINNEOFRAG and SINZEDKO doing what they can, but it's only 3. Better damage than you expected, in all honesty. SKADE find their 8th. They start to stabilize. The economy breaks for Sinners, and we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, we should be only a couple of rounds, really, between them before the guns come out again. Nice round by Bubble there. I believe doubling his kills up towards 6 as well. That's normally what you need. You're having one of those really horrible games. You look at the scoreboard, you're like 2-17, 3-17, I believe it was. You just need one decent round where you get a few kills just to re-inject some life. And especially now as they're going up against an eco as well. Maybe he can get a little bit more for himself. Never mind. Gets glocked. I'm sorry, Bubble. I tried.
Surely not again. Not again, Dean. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. Shit.
Of course, my Bubble.
Trying to stabilize things. Nicely done to find the double. Good damage onto a few more as well. Smoke to try and allow his escape or try and bait him through into his USP, but it's going to leave him isolated. SINNEOFRAG will find the refrag. And at this point, again, even 3 on 3, SINNEOFRAG has taken the B site, but with Dreamer in towards underpass, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Should be able to deny the bomb right as it looks to make its transfer in. Should be able to stop the madness before it gets too much more ridiculous. SINNEOFRAG still hiding behind the back bench. Hoping to get a peek from somewhere, but so far nobody's showing face as SINZEDKO is shifting his way past Dreamer here. So as much as Dreamer has a fast flank, I don't think he's going to activate to deny bomb. SINNEOFRAG lies in wait behind the back bench. It's on Denny's timing, really. If Dennyslaw can catch that bomb right as it looks to make its way out, that should be free, and Dreamer will catch the flank. Bomb is going to go down, though. And that's a big win. Considering this was a full Glock round, that is a huge result. The Molotov starts to burn at the feet of them, and they will start to be trimmed down. Neo on 34, SINZEDKO on 39. 1 rifle up against 3, but SINZEDKO's found 1, and that's an AWP recovered as well. He looks to turn, he looks to read it. No scopes the first. 1v1 now up against Dreamer. Finally stop the madness. SKADE go down to the last man against full Glocks. But they get it over the line, thank goodness.
Only fair, really, after they lost against USP, is to at least put up a decent fight here with the Glocks. But yeah, it seemed like a very drawn-out round. That initial opening, obviously, on Bubble, they managed to just then bring it down all the way to the one-on-one. Unfortunately, the bomb, I think, was just in a really horrible position to actually play off of, right, for SINZEDKO.
Yeah.
Didn't really have much that he could do about it. Admire the damage, though. Again, win this round now, and all of the damage they just got with those Glocks will allow for them to start running away with the lead once again. Half a second later there, and I think Forsey might have even had that shot landed. That's a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, into a very crucial gun round here. Both teams are really struggling with their economy, and whoever loses this can't really afford to do much in the next round at all. I don't know how Beastic comes away with that bubble. Looked like he had the drop on him.
It's a rough angle. We saw the USPs miss out on it earlier, and it's worked that way again, as now they're going to pop out into the A site. Denny is rotating in on a good timing, and he will catch Shock on the way out. They haven't got the utility to deny him, so he's just going to start charging his way around. He stays scoped in, he stays quiet, he finds a second. He knows he's got them pinned, and that allows for Rainwaker to strike. Zedko, yes, he'll get one, but he's being charged at from all sides, and there's absolutely nothing he can do. Beastic, last alive, deep on the ramp, 1v3. Denny will have him. SKADE with a beautiful response to losing that opening man. Dennyslaw with a big rotation, several critical frags on the AWP, and with just one round in it, their CT side is starting to thrive at the critical moment.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sinners, it's the exact opposite for them. They've just begun to drop off here, as it looked like victory was within their reach. Now they can't afford the full buy. They've just got one hero AK around some pistols, and should be tying up at 11-11 pretty soon. As I say that, though, it's jinxed. Neofrag charges up short, might even have a shot at the legs in towards window. Unfortunately for him, though, Denislav expects it, and with that will be able to quickly return things, and that leaves the AK in an unfortunately unrecoverable position as well.
That's a rough one. You could see he was feeling it. He tried to go for a little bit more, but Denislaw's there. Able to punish. Leaves 3 Deegs and a Tech 9 to see what damage they can get. And they slow it down, just looking to play around the contact. Any over-aggression from the CT side. Nobody is giving them an inch. Everyone aware of how critical these rounds will be in the context of the series. Denislaw nearly gets caught off by Shock. Tried to be a little cheeky out the A site, and that does actually pull away the B defense. Gives them enough time on the T side to at least get into things. Ships is isolated, so Zedko will deliver that frag. Man advantage found. They're charging in for the rifles, and that's going to leave Beastic just a little too vulnerable. Bubble there to capitalize, and with Zedko now naded down backside, starts to feel like this retake should be viable. Zedko taking an absolute ton of damage. Bubble, I think he thought there was a rifle on the floor there. There isn't. Finally, he gets himself an AK, but the USP will provide, and Forsey is left 1v3. Bomb is planted well for him. He has to know who to deny. It's a little rough to begin with, and that will leave the door open for Rainwaker to charge on in, spamming him down, leveling things out at 11 apiece, as the CT side of SKADE continues to deliver.
Yeah, I'm curious there where the Bubble was, where he picked up a weapon after getting that USP kill, or if he just wanted to stick on the USP so that he could be a bit more maneuverable there as he tried to clear out apps. I'm going to presume that was the go-to case, but it was a bit of a weird one. Either way, it works for them in the long run. The defuse does come true, and yeah, now we're tied at 11-11 as we expected. Double up setup is in play as well for the CT side. Again, though, no real economy is being built up for either of these sides. So although the score may be trading back and forth in such a bit, and now we've tied up with SKADE pulling off a bit of a comeback, they just haven't been able to stabilize off the back of it. So this is still a scary position to be in. No mid control being taken either from the CTs. They're not really looking to fight too heavily, at least as of yet. And neither are Sinners. They just dropped their smokes down and have decided to wait it out, probably expecting some counter peaks.
Still very much all to play for. Like you said, economy on a knife's edge.
Interesting setup.
Control traded. It is an intriguing one, isn't it? Underpass con. Close ramp. CT. Then a deep B play for the secondary AWP. It's an interesting CT set, and well, for now it's working. I think Sinners were expecting some aggression with that triple top mid setup. It looks like they are. And having been given nothing with 50 seconds left on the clock, they've got to start making a decision. They'll take the mid controller. B split feels like it may well be on the cards, but with such heavy connector presence, that feels hard to justify. Forsey first up will get the better of the angle to deal with Denislaw. And now Bubble. He's had a rough first half, a rough CT side to boot, and he's got to go big here. Only able to get the one. Neofrag trades it. 20 seconds left. Ships the last bastion of the defense over on B, and he's missed his shot. Now the flank starts to come into play because Beastick will execute Rainwaker on the rotation. Shock finds ships. And that will be the round. Dreamer deep into CT, looks at his economy, takes a sigh and realizes he has to save that M4 because there's nobody else able to buy.
Yeah, I mean, Dennyslaw will be able to buy if he wants. Bubble could maybe just about salvage an M4 with the 1400 loss bonus that they're going to have, but yeah, it won't be a good position if they do force and it goes wrong, and then Sinners really get to start running away with their lead, and I'm surprised he moves back towards the CT spawn. The M4 is going to be lost. Definitely no buys are going to be coming in now. Although, as I said, I realize Ships is on a double eco, but I still don't think it's really worth the risk. He's been willing to go for the hero rifle a couple times, so I think they'll probably just play towards a buy where he'll be left on a weaker weapon while everyone else can buy. Again, though, where Dreamer moved back over towards the spawn there. Expecting it to be clear.
Such a rough one. Ships has bought... Has he bought a Swag 7?
Yeah.
He's been dropped a Swag 7 by Dreamer.
Who's bought? And Denislav's got the op glass cannon. Not a big fan. This is so risky.
Okay.
They lose this, it's 13-11, 14-11 because they do have to eco. And then they've only got one gun round to go. I really am not a massive fan.
They've taken the time out as well, so they're thinking about this. They're thinking about it hard. They've decided that Ships on the Swag 7 is going to get a lot of heavy lifting down here, and I'm right with you. This feels incredibly risky. It's not like Sinner's economy is absolutely in the dumps either. Forzy, Shock, and Neofrag are all in a solid enough spot. We'll have to see if they can make the impossible pay off here. Ships takes the shotgun over towards B. The two Deagles occupy ramp and palace respectively. I get a hiccup. Dennyslaw sets himself in CT and bubble. He'll play in and around that connector, a position that he's really been struggling in.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange that they have the op and the M4 in connector as well. When you have Mag 7s and Deagles, that'd probably be a bit more fruitful to even just support the op there in towards connector, have that M4 playing somewhere where it can be a bit more useful. For now, it's just a bit of pressure towards A with that small bit of utility, and it seems like Sinners want to move it back towards B. They should, if they move quickly anyway, only be finding one player to actually hold off, because the rotations from that A-bomb site are going to take quite a while. But it's a Mag 7. Are we going to get jump shots?
I like the Mag 7.
Yeah.
I like it. It's viable situationally. When you're being charged at 1v5, not viable.
Yeah,
Not viable at all. He's going to drop off his first angle, tucks himself under the window, and he isn't checked. There's one. There's the second. Oh my goodness. Bubble on the flank gets one more, and this is doable. This is very, very doable indeed. Shock is desperately isolated. He needs support. He spots out Bubble and will at least deal with that, but it's a 3-on-2. The Molotov misses its mark as well. He's got to get out. Shock, with the bomb on his back, has got to get into this site. 10 seconds. They're playing this perfectly, SKADE. They're just waiting. They know as soon as that plant goes down, they just have to deny it, and that is the round, and there it is. Nothing Neofrag can say or do about it. He needs to make sure he doesn't die after time as well, or the economy will become desperately disjointed, and it Ships. The hero of the hour, the Mag 7 over on B, gets it done.
Yeah, I think the initial plan as well was for him to go with the jump peak. He could find the info maybe a little bit earlier and hopefully get a kill out of it, but the mollies were put down, and it only really left one way for Sinners to go as they were pushing out into the weaker buy. They were funneled right into the choke point of the Mag 7, so it works perfectly for Ships. Instead, now it's Sinners who have spent everything to get their buy into play. So again, a very important swing round that could cause this game to really go either way. It's going to be a kill from Bubble there as he actually catches it through the corner of the wall, but he doesn't hang on to his life. The bomb's getting planted, and with it being so early in the round and so convincing, I think SKADE might already want to back off. That seems to be the call that's been made. They want nothing to do with this anymore.
Has to be the call. They've got no choice.
Will they be hunted? Probably not. They should be safe, I'd say.
I don't think Sinners are going to take the risk. Their economy not well established enough to hunt, and also not trusting that there's no late retake, no late ninja like we saw from SINZEDKO. That's such a nice call, though, from Sinners. Just to up the pace. We've seen slow round after slow round, tensely fought control. They just pop in, grab a couple kills. A-site overrun. They know the economy's on the ropes, so the save is almost inevitable. And it puts SKADE in, admittedly, a slightly better position than they were in 2 rounds ago, but a rough position nonetheless. The 2 players who died won't be able to buy rifles. There can be some drops and some jiggery pokery to maybe get them some SMGs, but it's not going to be pretty.
No, it's really not. I mean, they decide against SMGs. Instead, it's a couple of Deagles around the op and some rifles, but already the op gets picked off. There was a later spawn for Dennyslaw. I think he had a teammate actually push across to the deep side of window first. So with that, he was very delayed. The problem is they drop out into the AK of Rainmaker, or Rainwaker rather, and just have nothing to give back. This is a very strange push. They decided to just straight up commit on towards this A bomb site out of nowhere. And they ran into the AK that was waiting for them and just destroyed them. Second up, if they wanted, they actually do decide to take it as well. And it doesn't really matter who looks like they're in a favorable position. Both of these teams are just pulling things out of the bag when they have absolutely nothing to make it work with.
They give him the AK as well. He's deeging under Palace. He spams the first, takes the AK, gets 3 more. They just don't clear their angles. I think Sinner's getting a little tired now. It's been a long old series. It's been a long old slog. And those are the kind of mistakes you just cannot afford to make. A round that should have sealed it. Instead, we level out again. The economy from Sinners takes a hit. SINZEDKO drops to the Deagle. And we start anew. Slower play this time. Mid control to be fought over. 2 players in the underpass. SINNEOFRAG sets himself top mid. Dreamer wants a piece of this. Timing is going to be everything, though, with 2 players underpass. A potential swing timing from SHOCK could catch one off guard, and indeed it does. Dreamer immediately there to trade, and there's Dennyslaw, the AWP activated. It's only the Deagle he picks off, but it's a man advantage, and that's the critical piece of information. Minute left on the clock, and it's forcing Sinners to be more and more inventive with things. SHOCK has just walked the smoke, and Dennyslaw has no idea. He's got no clue what's coming. If they time this well, it's a freebie. But Dennyslaw just slips his way out of CT at the perfect moment. That'll give him the breathing room he so desperately needs, but Dreamer falls for it. His AWP has sold him out there. Called that it was free. He tries to rotate in. The AWP gets away. The rifle does not. And Dennyslaw's got to be so desperately careful here. He reads it well, deals with SHOCK, and now it starts to look splintered again for Sinners. The bomb all the way over on B. A lone peek on ramp for B-Stick is punished. And Forzy, with 20 seconds left, is left with an impossible task. He's going to charge his way up short, but Ships will hear it. Ships is scoped in. Forzy, he finds one, but he's quickly dealt with.
Not a big fan of how they played that. Even if the player back in the spawn, if they wanted to go A, he probably could have just waited a couple of seconds and could have still pushed in from jungle or something. But once he did fall to the op in the CT spawn, why does the ramp player then decide to peek it slow and alone while crouching?
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense. The bomb is still making its way back from maps at that point. He crouches into the angle directly. Just kind of makes it easy for Dennyslaw, if I'm being honest. 14-13. Looks like SKADE are the ones who are going to be very likely reaching map point first. Maybe not. Okay, SINNEOFRAG, hang on. I won't jinx you too early. There is a trade back, so no advantage is going to actually be taken off the back of that kill, but a decent start will maybe inspire some hope, which is very quickly being taken away.
Good damage onto Rainwaker, if nothing else. There is still a scout in play. 2 players now, 1 shot for it. Problem is, again, with no util, it's all on timings. Oh, Bubble. Fully exposed, had no idea, and B-Stick is just roaming the map at the moment. Movement gets him into jungle, will finally be put down by Dreamer. Both teams showing a lot of signs of fatigue here. Rainwaker is deep CT with the secondary AWP. Hasn't managed to catch SINNEOFRAG making his way out, and that'll allow him to go and support his teammate, clear those angles. Dreamer really is the clutch piece here. If he can deal with SINNEOFRAG cleanly, then this should be a done deal, and they line up for him. Beautiful stuff. SKADE have 15. 2 opportunities for Sinners to force the OT. They need to get both of them. 2 chances for SKADE to shut it down early. Big round coming up here. This is absolutely critical. Despite the heroics of the Deagles, just not able to get it done, Sinners.
Oh, and there's been quite a few chances as well here for Sinners on this T side. I mean, even just throwing it back to the USP round that was able to be won out as well.
They're going to pop it.
Oh, this is a bit of a change
up.
Out. There is a player, I believe, under Palace. Yeah, actually, Bubble, or rather, whoever the hell that is doing what he can. It was Rainwaker, only getting 1, and it doesn't seem to be really too much of an issue. His teammates have the rest of them covered off. B-Stick, hang on. Playing around behind that smoke there. It's not even the regular one-way. It's just in a bit of an awkward position. And it's worked for 3 kills. Leaving Shock with at least a very small chance of giving them some sort of hope here. The problem being both players are fully locked in on Palace right now.
Shock has bomb, but he won't be able to do it. SKADE get it done. Oh my goodness, the finish. Just as hectic as the beginning, you have to say. They go absolutely foot to the floor, just try and barge into that A site, and it very nearly lands. B-Stick very nearly able to pull off the heroics, but unfortunately, I think at the end of the day, a little bit of fatigue. It's been a long old series.